Before we start the video, please go check out some of my other ones after, of course, you watch this one. Also, please consider liking and subscribing. Alright, back to it. There's only about 150 days or so left until the masterpiece of a film, Five Nights at Freddy's, releases. So many fans excited and in anticipation as to what we will see. We already got a mini trailer that showed us plenty, like how the animatronics look like, inside the pizzeria when it's both open to the public and when it's abandoned. So a lot of things are riding on this movie, like Matthew Lillard's performance as Purple Guy, aka William Afton, a very important character in the Fnaf universe and who's important to the fans. And Josh Hutcherson as Mike Schmidt, who was also the very first person we played as in FNAF 1, so the stakes are high. To finally see these characters played out and to see just how they are on screen will finally be answered. When it comes to the animatronics, there has been some criticism coming from a lot of fans, particularly criticizing the eyes. Some people absolutely hate the big red eyes, claiming that they don't look scary enough and they kinda look dumb. Some fans have also gone as far as to make their own edits, removing the big red eyes and adding the small white pupils, which in my opinion isn't bad either, but I don't think the movie deserves all the hate just because of the eyes. Plus, when people say that the animatronics don't look scary enough, I don't think they realize that the original FNAF 1 animatronics were never scary. Sure, they were a little creepy, but it doesn't scream terrifying. The only one that was Golden Freddy. But anyway, I'm getting sidetracked. This movie can be amazing and have great jump scares, stories, characters, etc. But the one thing that can hurt it is the ending. There are many ways the movie could end to set up a possible sequel, and in this video I'm going to be going over some endings that I think people will be pleased with, and maybe some that people won't like. Let's start the night. Okay, so based on the trailer, it seems like we're going to be jumping back and forth when the pizzeria was open and fully operational to it being abandoned and being left to rot. We see a shot of William Afton. As we know, William Afton in FNAF 1 lore was an employee who dressed up as one of the animatronics and lured two kids into the back rooms where he killed them. He was arrested but no bodies were ever found, so William was let go scot-free. Get it? Okay, so in this first ending, Mike goes to prove how William was guilty of killing those children, so he takes up a job at Freddy Fazbear's Pizza towards the end of its run, before it shuts down, being a good employee by day and a security guard / investigator by night, as we can see him snooping around the pizzeria in the trailer. Eventually, yes, he finds proof of William being guilty, and in classic Scooby-Doo fashion, takes off his mask and reveals it to be him. They fight for a bit, and one of the animatronics, either Freddy or one of them, sees what Mike's trying to do, and they step in to help bring down William. Now, there's two ways this can go down. Mike is fighting William against the animatronic's assistance, and William goes to jail, or Mike is fighting William and is losing the fight, so the animatronics step in and just start beating the crap out of William for revenge, and nearly beating him to death. Kinda like how the staff bots did to Vanny in one of the endings of Security Breach. Now, after I give every ending, I'm going to be ranking them based off the certificates given out after each ending in FNAF Pizza Simulator, and also if they're exciting and enjoyable, and of course, if it makes sense. So, this one I'll call the arrested ending. I'll say that this ending is solid. It certainly isn't as exciting as some of the other ones in this video, but it also isn't disappointing either, so I'll give this one the certification of mediocrity. Moving on to the second possible ending, it's an ending that would bend the lore a bit. Yes, the lore. Something that is really hard to keep up with, but in this ending, Mike throughout the whole movie has memories of a messed up childhood, and everything in his past is a blur, except for one event, when him and his friends killed his younger brother, the crying child. In the movie's official description of Mike, it says the following: riddled with guilt over a tragedy in his past, and now struggling to take care of his younger sister on his own, Mike is low on options when he lands a new job to pay the bills, the night security guard at Freddy Fazbear's Pizzeria. Mike is vulnerable with a tough exterior. Though he means well, his obsession with digging for the truth may have potentially disastrous consequences. End quote. Throughout the movie, we follow Mike as he slowly descends into madness. He wants people to find out the truth about Freddy Fazbear's and William Afton, who still at the time, Michael, does not know is his father. We then get a flashback to Mike's childhood to find out that as a child, William would experiment on Mike, who would feed him edible mechanical parts and add mechanical wear onto his organs. Time passed and those experiments wouldn't harm or do anything to Mike till now. William is caught, Freddy Fazbear's is shut down, forcing the franchise to close its doors for now. The movie ends with that iconic scene from Sister Location. Michael walking down the street and out of nowhere collapses, spewing mechanical parts into the sewer, just like the cutscene in the game. People gather around him as he is presumed dead. A voice is heard, and it says, "You won't die." Michael then springs up, scaring everyone and the viewers. Movie cuts to black. Roll the credits. Now with this ending, one problem with it. Obviously, this is barely the first FNAF movie, so energy is not a thing yet. In order for Michael to be spewing out mechanical parts, like I said, the lore would have to be bent a little. So instead of Ennard's parts, it's the years of experiments catching up with Michael and William having one last laugh as he's hauled into jail. This ending caters to the FNAF fans who know what's up, but to the average viewer, they'd be like, what the? They'd probably be disturbed, so it's for sure an ending that's meant for a specific audience. So I'll call this one the lore-heavy ending. It would be cool though, also it'd be very exciting to see Michael's cutscene from Sister Location live action. But this ending would not work in the grand scheme of things. You would have to know that the voice you heard was Baby's, also that the mechanical parts is an Easter egg about Ennard, so I'll give this ending the certificate of Lore Keeper. Next, we have a couple endings that would just ruin this movie. I think that most of the fans wouldn't like them. It's where instead of William being arrested and held accountable, he instead just dies, like he just straight up dies. Not an off-screen kill to leave room for speculation, no, just dies. Either he kills himself in a scene where he's running from the police, or something like he would rather die from his own hands than the animatronics. Or in this one, he does not come back. Along with that, the animatronics are scrapped, and Freddy Fazbear's Pizza, both the company and the pizzeria, are done forever. I guess the problem with this particular ending is if Blumhouse does not have any plans for a sequel and just rushes every storyline or just doesn't mention them, it would be highly disappointing, because something that's a part of Fnaf is the amount of sequels there are. It started off as a joke and a meme of people making fun of the amount of games, but even Scott participated in the jokes, but now nobody cares anymore how many Fnafs are made because, well, it's a really good game franchise. Another disappointing way this can go down is if William is killed halfway through the movie, and then out of nowhere at the end he reemerges as Springtrap. Like, that would not even make sense, because Springtrap is the rotting body of William. To have him come out just for a bit at the end to be like the final boss for Michael, that would really put a dent into how people feel about this movie, including me. Springtrap is a beloved character. A lot of people, including myself, are so hyped to see him on screen, but not right now. Another thing that I'm just going to throw out there, because if this is true, I'd be like, what? Is if, of course, you follow Michael to the movie, and he becomes possessed by one of the children's spirits and wants to kill William. And then all of a sudden, William becomes the main protagonist. And the movie leads us to believe that William is now the good guy and Michael is the bad guy. And then at the end, Michael's arrested and or killed, and William is seen as the hero. Before the movie ends, he does a classic Michael Jackson evil turn away towards the camera. Cut to black. I hope these things don't happen. These endings would be highly disappointing and might even mess up the movie in terms of box office success. So I'll give these the blacklisted and bankruptcy certificates. Blacklisted because people would hate this movie and any mention of it would get you shot on sight, and bankruptcy because it would lose a lot of money. This ending is just going to be an over-the-top, blockbuster, insane ending that I'm confident would never happen. This is going to break the rule of making sense. Michael is close to finding out the truth about both William and what took place at the pizzeria on the night of June 26. Michael discovers and opens up a secret back room in the pizzeria, an area of the place not meant for anyone to see, the safe room. Michael, horrified, sees a slouched-over, unused animatronic suit, dirty and disgusting. It's Springtrap. Side note, I know it's a misconception that Springtrap was in FNAF 1, but for the sake of this, he is. Michael patches the sealed room back up and tries to forget what he saw. A while later, he finally finds evidence to pin William to his crimes. When out of nowhere, William appears and threatens to kill him. Michael fighting William, overpowering him. Finally, William lands a cheap shot, knocking Michael back down. William then tries to shoot Michael, missing, hitting a gas pipe. The pizzeria begins to have a small fire, and smoke starts to fill the ceiling. Michael continues to fight William. During this, the fire begins to get bigger, filling the main stage eating area with smoke. The animatronics trying to help Michael, but also still being fearful of William. Finally, the fire's too much. Michael tries to leave. The exits are filled with smoke and loose wood from the collapsing ceiling. Michael clears the debris so that he can escape. He makes it out the door until William, one last time, tries to drag Michael back into the building. If he can't escape, no one can. The animatronics sacrifice themselves to save Michael, dragging William into the fire along with themselves. Fire trucks arrive. Michael is saved and is taken to the hospital. Credits begin to roll, movie over as it would seem. But then a post-credit scene gives us one last look at the pizzeria. Burned down, and the camera continues to go inside. We see the pizzeria, everything just torched. The camera continues to move forward. We see that familiar seal where the safe room was, now open. The Springtrap suit, still slouched over but now spazzing, moving its body and its hands in quick burst. Camera continues to move towards Springtrap's face. All of a sudden, he stops moving. A moment of silence. Then Springtrap turns his head up, jump scaring the viewers, and we hear his classic hissing sound. Cut to black. Now this ending would be insane. I highly doubt it's going to turn out like this. I know I said having Springtrap in this one would be rushed, but if it's a post-credit scene setting up the sequel, then it'll be okay. But this epic action-packed ending gets the certification of insanity. Insanity in a very good way. In our final, fifth possible ending to this movie, it's really whatever Blumhouse and Scott Cawthon create. I have high hopes and confidence that they'll be able to have an ending that makes sense and pleases the fans, but by also leaving the door open for a possible sequel, which is most likely happening. I mean, come on, it's FNAF. It would be cool if it had some stuff that I mentioned, but then again, I'm not a screenwriter, I'm just a guy who makes YouTube videos, so what do I know? Anyway, the ending is a crucial part of the movie, yes, but some other things that are worth mentioning is the fan service that this movie may have. Not the rated R type, by the way. When I say fan service, I mean like how Marvel handled it in Spider-Man No Way Home, and having John Krasinski as Mr. Fantastic and Doctor Strange MOM. Some small things that would be appealing to the fans of FNAF that have been following this series since 2014 would be things like having a scene where Michael is looking at the security cameras, and when he sees Foxy leaning out more and more each time out of Pirate's Cove, and then out of nowhere he breaks out into a full sprint towards the office. Or maybe a scene with Freddy's classic laugh as he moves around the pizzeria from area to area. I could go on and on when talking about small Easter eggs and subtle details that can make this movie even more legendary than it already is. The hype around this movie has been fun to follow, and Fnaf fans are happy that this is finally happening. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know down below in the comments which ending did you like, if any. And also, if you have any endings of your own, put them down below. I'll be happy to read them. Once again, please make sure to like and subscribe. Check out some of my other videos if you feel like it. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Peace out.